Good evening. This is Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. As we speak, Treasury Consulting is a multinational headquartered group based out India, Singapore, and Hong Kong. More importantly, we do have offices in three parts of the globe. As we speak, Treasury Consulting is 100% profitable and cash rich growth. So, unlike Ola, Uber, Swiggy, Zomato, Lenskart, Paytm, Delivery, Byju's, Oyo, all such great unicorns, we never claim to be a unicorn. But having said that, we are 100% profitable and cash rich growth. And we are a multinational hedge fund. No, by multinational hedge fund, I means we take a position. But having said that, we are a proprietary hedge fund. Now, by proprietary, I mean whatever positions which we are taking. So per se, we are taking $100 position for a while. Whatever positions which we are taking, these positions are backed up by our own capital. So not a single dollar is backed up by any private equity, any venture capitalist, and any venture debt fund. So, as we speak, we are 100% cash rich and 0% debt. Today, I would be covering a very important topic which is happening in the world, and I am warning people from the last many years. We know that today is 12th April 2022. 12th April 2022, and Sri Lanka defaulted on the whole $51 billion of debt. So, the whole debt structure of Sri Lanka, which is near about $51 billion, is collapsed. By the way, this is external debt. I repeat, this is external debt. There must be internal debt which is raised by Sri Lankan government from the Sri Lankan nationals. So which is also known as the local debt. Now, how much is the local debt? We do not know, because probably we may get the figure after few days, probably after few weeks. But as we speak, we do not know the local debt. But having said that, the external debt worth $51 billion is defaulted. Now, you know that I am a person of data. I never speak until otherwise I have data in my hand. So before making this video, I got this data. First data I got it from the India Today, and second data I got it from Business Today. Now these are the articles which I took it from the internet, and now I have made a policy. The policy is that I took the article, print it, study it, and then I put this in my record. So these are the articles. I repeat, number one article is by India Today, and number two article is by Business Today. By the way, Business Today article is very, very latest, just 1 hour away. Very, very latest. Okay, so Sri Lanka external debt, which is near about 51 billion US dollar, is already defaulted. Out of 51 billion, approximately 8 billion is from China, which means that near about, I would say, near about 20%, you can say, or 18% of the debt belongs to China, which means around 51 billion is the external debt, and out of which near about 8 billion is from China. Between 18, around 18% belongs to China. Now, having said that, there is another problem which we have. Let me study this problem. Sri Lanka borrowed 1.2 billion from China to build Humbantota port. The Iceland failed to run the port and to pay debt back to China. They negotiated and handed over a strategically critical and crucial port which was very close to the international maritime route to Chinese on a lease for 99 years. So common sense prevails. So common sense is that if they got a critical port on a lease of 99 years, then the common sense is that they would never return back. Because if the Sri Lankan situation is worst today, so what would be after 99 years? That's a very, very common sense. And by the way, 100 years is a big number. 100 years, which means if the port is leased out in 2022, which means the negotiation will happen in 3022. God knows what would happen in 3022, whether China would survive, whether Sri Lanka would survive, whether there would be any geopolitical issue, whether there would be any more variant like Corona. God knows what would happen. So just simply ignore that. But as we speak, this port is under the control of China. The situation is more messier, which I'm going to be touching, which is Shashi Dhantunge, economist and the former chairman of Shipping Corporation and vice chairman of Civil Aviation Authority, said that Hambantota port is no longer in Sri Lanka control. In 2007, the debt-ridden country handed over the port to China, and it was struggling to pay the debt of the several Chinese firms. Whatever money it earned also vanished by paying off the debt. So, which means 2017. Now, note this very, very carefully. Former Sri Lanka cricketer and former Minister of Petroleum and Aviation, Mr. Arjuna Ranatunga, while speaking to India Today, termed the decision of surrendering the port to China as wrong and said they do not know who is their friend and who is their enemy. Now, this is what the politician of the Sri Lankan government are talking. So it means that Sri Lanka is already defaulted on 51 billion of debt. Their crucial port is already leased to China in 2017 for 99 years, which means the renewal will happen in 3017. God would know what would happen in 3017. But having said that, something messier is going to be happening in 3017. Now, there is another important thing which I would like to deliberate. Which now this data I got it from the Business Today article, and this looks very, very scary. This looks very, very scary. So I am winding up part 1 here because this would be a lengthier exercise, and I would see you in the part 2. It would be a very interesting exercise. See you in the part 2. Welcome to part 2 of the video titled Sri Lanka Default. Chinese played very well, and we need to appreciate that. So why Chinese played very well? Because without firing a bullet, they got a control of many countries. Just like as we speak, Sri Lanka already defaulted on a debt to the tune of 51 billion US dollars. while Pakistan's situation is also not well because they are having a debt of near about 43 trillion Pakistani rupee. You heard me right, 43 trillion Pakistani rupee. Today, Nepal also said that the import of luxury items is completely banned because the foreign exchange reserves is at historic low, and they already fired their central bank governor. It's not about Sri Lanka, not about Pakistan or any other country. There are many countries who are in a debt trap, and let me tell you a logic behind that. So before I tell you the logic, let me first show you from the source. It is by Business Today. So first, let me study. Apart from economic distress, one thing running common between these countries is they all part of China Belt and Road Initiative, shortly known as BRI. The BRI is a global infrastructure development strategy developed by the Chinese to invest in nearly 70 countries, 70. The Chinese government, through BRI, invest in building ports, roads, bridges, dams, power stations, railroads. China is known to have BRI deals with all the three countries. The three countries which I name, you know the reason, which is Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. So, Build and Road Initiative, whatever agreement is signed with 70 countries. Three are done. Now, note this carefully. Around 40 countries that felt the benevolence means the mercy, the benevolence of China have rug pulled from under their feet. Among these are Laos, Zambia, Kazakhstan. Moreover, to an international development research lab based at College of William and Mary in Virginia, which means US, BRI has left multiple lower and middle income countries with a hidden debt totaling 385 billion. 385 billion. Sri Lanka defaulted just 51 billion, and out of 51 billion, 8 billion belongs to China. But here I am getting our statistics, which is 385 billion. It means I don't have a figure that who owns out of this 55 billion, like 385 billion, like this country got this much figure, this country got this much figure, this country got this much figure. We don't have that figure. But having said that, one thing which is really clear, that is that 385 billion is the funding which is either done by Chinese government or must be under shape, and we don't know. Just like Sri Lanka surrendered their key port, which is closer to international maritime, for 99-year lease. I don't know what is the scene here. But moving forward, the report analyzed over 13,000 aid and debt finance project worth 843 billion in 165 countries. It means that the Chinese debt policy is working, which means that they don't believe in war. They don't want it to have a war like Russia and Ukraine, where you will send your soldiers, you send your enemies, you send your tanks, whatever not, what not. They are financing these countries with the money, knowing that these countries won't be able to pay. End result we saw. Please wait, the situation is more messier as we move. However, not a single BRI project in Nepal has taken off due to various constraints and finalization of project implementation. The Himalayan country asserted that it will not accept any project that comes with string attached. The Prime Minister Publicity Affairs Chief stated that Nepal is not looking for loan right now, but it is seeking projects under grant assistance. Point is said. Kathmandu has stated that projects should be selected based on a joint mechanism. They said that they prefer grants, but even if loan is required, it should not be more than 2% interest rate. Come on. 2% interest rate is nothing. No one will give 2% to Nepal. Now I will come to it. Once you read these articles, now let me study this. Additionally, India and Nepal also committed to fix their ties. Nepalian Prime Minister Sher Bahadur recently met Prime Minister Modi and inaugurated the broad gauge Janagar Kutra rail link that will establish the connectivity to this. Sri Lanka had also asked near about 2.5 billion credit line from the China. Now here it is with the here it is. India already offered a credit line of 2.5 billion to Sri Lanka. That's a separate thing that India debt is rising, but India is still offering the credit line. Anyways, now having said that, if we read this document and this document carefully, then one thing which is very straight and straightforward is that mess is on the cards. How, how mess is on the cards? Because Sri Lanka is already collapsed. You know, your Pakistan is having a huge debt of near about 43 trillion Pakistani rupee. Nepal's situation is going worst. Their foreign exchange reserve is lesser than 10 billion. You heard me right. It is lesser than 10 billion. They fired their governor. Now they are seeking funding. They have stopped the import of luxury items so that the foreign exchange reserves will not go away. Now, one thing is very clear that we are heading into the world of debt diplomacy. Now, what the hell is debt diplomacy? Debt diplomacy means that the rich countries like China, who have substantial money in their pocket, they are funding the countries knowing that they not been able to fund. I once again would like to repeat this paragraph, which is provided by the Business Today article. Around 40 countries that felt the benevolence of China have the rug pulled from under their feet. Among these are Laos, Zambia, Kazakhstan too. Moreover, according to an international development research lab based at College of William and Mary in Virginia, BRI has left middle and lower income countries with a hidden debt totaling 385 billion. Yes, 385 billion. Very soon, a huge debt diplomacy is on the cards. And without firing a single bullet, I repeat, without firing a single bullet, China would win many countries of the globe. Because today, 99% countries of the globe are running on debt. They don't have the money, so they are running on debt. And this is where the Chinese strategy is working. More interesting videos on the card. This is Rahul Magan from Treasury Consulting Group. You knew my personal number 9899242978. I repeat 9899242978. Have a great time ahead.